rest of the rounds. What am I doing? I was testing a thing where basically there was a rumor on. Oh yeah, the insta kills from World War BO1. Those are great. I wish those were back. Basically, Treyarch could promise that on BO4 around 1000, like the game was supported to go to around 1024. Well, uh, a Reddit post had come out saying that a guy, or talking about a guy, he got to around like 255. He got reset to round one with round one zombies. All of the high round community basically groaned at this because the game was supported to go to round 124, and they didn't want another situation with BO3 because of BO3. Once you got to round 255, 255 kept looping over and over and over. You never saw around 256, which is really lame and killed high rounding in BO3 because some maps started getting to that 255 limit, and then what's the point of playing? Because of the technicalities of high rounding and the art of high rounding, whatever. So then, basically, people have been freaking out over BO4 because they didn't know if round 256 existed or not, because BO3 didn't have a 256. BO4 said has a 256, but instead, round 256 is just round one with round one 6 zombies. It's like, what the fuck? So then, basically, we found a way to test by getting to around 255 in mutations now because of a problem called bullet theory, which is where the more bullets you shoot in a game, the sooner you are to error. That's bullshit. That's just because the game is broken. So then we found a way with Brutuses, where Brutuses just spawn nukes continually, so you just nuke your way to around 255, which is what I did. And then when I got there, I started tracking how many Brutuses there were per horde, because the Brutuses directly correlate with how many zombies there are in the round. It's about 1 Brutus per 20 zombies. So whenever the rounds increased by 20 zombies, the Brutuses would increase by 1. So if I kept getting more Brutuses with each round, that meant the zombie count kept increasing, which means around 256 exists, 257 exists, and so on, which means Treyarch was not lying about 1024, which I just proved. Whew, I know that was a lot to take in. Basically, I just confirmed that around 256 to 124 do exist in the game. It's just the round counter, because right now it says I'm on round 2, but I've been playing for 6.5 hours. Basically, I played the round 255. The round counter, not knowing what to do, freaks out and just vanishes for a round, and that's around 256. And then once you get to round 257, the counter finds a way to reset itself to round 1. So then I played through round 1 to check the Brutuses, and now I'm on round 2. Anyway, let me see how many Brutuses there were. So I started with 857. I ended with 1155. 1155 minus 857. That's 298. That's 2 more Brutuses. So, yep. I 100% confirmed round 256 exists. So high rounding is not dead on BO4. The only thing they need to fix is bullet theory. And BO4 is perfect for high rounding. But then the next thing we have to figure out is when's reset. Which basically reset, in case you don't know, is the game has, at least in previous COD titles, there's always been a certain number of entities that are allowed in the game. Basically, an entity is, say like a barrier is an entity. The map itself is an entity. Zombies are entities. Dogs are entities. Traps, when they're active, the effects are entities. Basically, anything dynamic in the game was an entity. So then the game doesn't really clear entities. It just builds up over time. So if you have, say, an estimated 256 entities per X time, those would keep piling up forever and ever and ever until the game doesn't have anywhere more to store those. And then the game basically freaks out, wipes all the entities, resets your game, and that's what reset is. Basically, if you watch any BO1 montage of someone getting like a world record game, and then they, at the very end of their game, all of a sudden they just wipe to the main screen, that's reset. So we don't know if that exists in BO4. We know that exists in 1, 2, and BO3 kind of resets. There's a thing that's called like a tree set. I'll get to you, Rain. Sorry. It's called like a tree set where you kind of reset into like the tree cutscene, and that just plays infinitely. Otherwise, the game just either crashes or black screens because of the entity. At least what is theorized to be the entity cap. Whatever. It's a lot of mumbo jumbo. Basically, you're on a timer, and how fast that timer counts down depends on how much shit's going on the map. BO1, we have all that shit figured out to a T. BO2, not really. BO3, nobody cares, and there's no good way to test it. BO4, too new. What makes BO4 good for high rounds? BO4 is good for high rounds because, one, we don't have a cap limit, which means once we get to 255, we just get to keep playing with increased zombies, which is how the high round community wants it. And trust me, I'm part of the high round community, so I know this. Two, the AATs don't are not so overpowered and broken in the game. It waters down every map to be the exact same strategy where you just run around in circles shooting dead wire and blast furnace, and that just makes the game super fucking boring. And it gives the game more of a traditional BO1 like flavor because BO1 was a lot of using traps mixed in with using wonder weapons, mixed in with abusing drops. Like every map on BO1 had its own like unique taste and flavor to it. Whereas BO3, it was all just you stand in one spot, you shoot this gun, or you run in this place with these same 4 perks that you do on every other map, and just shoot dead wire until you reset. Like it adds flavor to the maps, you know. It like makes every map unique. It's not the same watered down shit that BO3 was, because Shadows of Evil, you just camp in one spot the entire game. DE, you just camp in one spot the entire game with Deadwire. Um, all that kind of stuff. How long would a 255 plus legit run take? Um, let's see. Is this gonna work? Okay, hold on. Please work. This never works. Display capture doesn't work when I'm home. It doesn't like to capture my desk or my laptop's thing. Let me do this. Actually. I still kind of wish there was only 24 zombies in a round like World at War. That kind of would water down or make the rounds too um boring too, honestly though. Let's see. Do that. Is that gonna work? Come on. You're not gonna window capture you're not gonna capture Chrome? Really? Fucking dick. Maybe if I switch to Firefox. Firefox. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it gets annoying if the round continually keeps increasing, but it's us high rounders, we're kind of used to it. I mean, it's gonna get monotonous no matter what you do with zombies, because finding the most efficient strat, you're just gonna obviously want to keep doing that no matter what. So, um, umbakus.com. Let's see if it wants to capture um this window capture Firefox. Cool, it works. Okay. So this is a website basically that some of the high rounders use. Zombulator exists, but I kind of want people to start shying away from Zombulator because ZWR runs it, and ZWR is a shit website run by a shit person. Anyway, so let's see. Actually, okay, cool. Dash did add this. So if I go from round 50 to round 255, let's say I'm Blood. Blood is about 9 seconds a horde. To get to round 255, it would be a 51-hour game, not including dog rounds. Dog rounds would make that shorter. I usually limit myself to get better at zombies. Only this weapon type, no perks, no pap, etc. Yeah, that helps. Honestly though, the better way to get good at zombies is to like learn the high round strats and what high round people do to get to the high rounds. Like getting a horde up in tight areas, just doing the high round strategy. And from that you kind of just develop like primal skills for high rounding. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are challenge leaderboards for any of those for zombies. Well, not for a specific weapon type, but or well, they do like a no they have no power challenges, so you can just go as high as possible without using the power obviously, or as high as possible only in the first room. But basically like the only thing you really need to work on for high rounding is just knowing the low slash high round strats and then just working on mastering those because with those come the primal instincts to I guess handle tough situations per se. Like if you know how to get a horde up, uh, like in certain areas of the map or just the fundamental principle of zombies, it helps. Yeah, I agree with that boost. I'm gonna throw in some music. I'm sure you guys want some music. And I'm sorry I'm not like playing anything.